Man United head coach Ruben Amorim has set an ambitious target for his team this season. Never mind the slow start, Amorim believes United can still push and finish in places that will excite the Man United faithful. This has been revealed by the new kid on the block, Mazraoui, in an exclusive interview together with former captain Harry Maguire, who just returned from injury and is now training on grass. Welcome to the United Sport. My name is Webb. It's a weekend, and when it's a weekend, you expect a lot of noise from dogs, from people, to supporters, to what, by constructions going on. So if you all feel distracted by the noise around me, just bear with me, fam. It's a weekend, guys, so it's a free world. People have got to enjoy their weekends whichever way they want. Human beings and animals in equal measure. But let's get into this Man United talk, proper Man United talk. My, my skin looks sparkling. I don't know why. Is it the light? I love this light. I should maintain this. Not so. Anyhow, Nosal Mazraoui, in a rare interview, has said that Man United can still push for top four. From what I picked, and because this was first stated by Harry Maguire and Nosal Mazraoui, hottest player at Man United right now, did as well add his voice saying that surely top four is what Man United should be pushing for now. I get the sense that this is the target that Ruben Amorim told them that this is what we are playing for this season. And they are saying with Man United just 6 points off the fourth place Chelsea, they feel and believe it's still a realistic target because the season is still way too young. That's how they feel because if it's only 12 games that have been played so far, United can still get back to winning ways and compete for Champions League places because that's where the club belongs. Now, for me, this is what I see with such an ambition from a young manager like this, first season in charge, where players looked as bad as they can ever get as United players. I'll tell you, that is a sign of confidence in the manager. These players spoke highly about Ruben Amorim and how they believe so much in what he's doing. Remember, Harry Maguire has played in a back three before. Before his injury, he was playing football and he was one of the better players for Man United, especially in the back line. And he's returning now to a new formation, which he played before with England under Sir Gareth Southgate. I think he played it before a little bit at Hull City and Leicester in bits. So he knows a thing or two about it. He was playing most on the left-hand side of it. So he's saying he's eager to come back and contribute to the team. Now, I know there are people out there who will not even want to hear the name the name Harry Maguire. But I tell you what, I think Maguire's return, because he's soon coming back to training with the rest of the team, but he's back on grass. For me, his return is good. You know what? The biggest problem for Man United right now is the left-hand side of the back three, where we are not certain who is best to play there. Lisandro Martinez, of course, played there in the last game. Looked decent, I must say. But Martinez and his fitness are questionable lately. We cannot be sure how many games will be available for. So you get a sense that in this system where Amorim, like he explained clearly, is going to be rotating players, it's only good for us to have, yes, Lisandro Martinez fit, but also Harry Maguire as an option because of all our centre backs, with the exception of Lisandro Martinez, who is a naturally footed player. I think Harry Maguire, of the right-footed players, is the only one who can comfortably play in that role on the left-hand side of the back three because he's played there before. But also the advantage to Harry Maguire, fam, that you perhaps are not paying right attention to is his size. His size is good for such a formation because he's big, he's huge, he's a giant. He brings a different competitive advantage to our game or to our backline, which is so important because you know Ruben Amorim wants big players in that back three. So for me, I think it's a good update there for Manchester United that Harry Maguire is returning, but also is a leader in the team. Harry Maguire is a leader. He was a captain. Of course, things went bad for him, stripped of the captaincy, but that doesn't take away nothing from him and his leadership credentials. So you think it's only good. And you see, soon we are going to be having a full squad, and I believe it's going to serve well in the new manager's setup because he has explained it, and I've explained it here before, that what he intends to do is to be rotating. Now, if we are going to push for top four, rotations are supposed to be there. Players are supposed to be rested. You look at what Arteta does with us, setting Julian Timber, and of course, usually he keeps the central pair, Saliba and Gabriel, compact because it's nearly irreplaceable. But on the right, Ben White and Julian Timber, and then on the left, Calafiori and and Timber at times. So that rotation is important if you're going to run this marathon. In the mid as well, at times he rotates players. Same with the forwards in Gabriel Jesus, in Martinelli, in of course there are certain core players you don't rotate because they are the gist of the fulcrum of the team. That's Odegaard and Bukayo Saka. But you see that Arsenal will still have players kind of having their energy for games because of the bit of rotation that they see in certain departments. So you think uh, this fitness of players adds to it makes the depth that we seem to have make sense, but also it gives the coach a lot of options because players these days have got to be rested if they are going to stay fresh, but they have got to be most importantly rotated. And ahead of the game against Everton, which will be very important in getting back our chase for top four on track. Of course, it's a home game, first home game in the Premier League, beating Everton, which is a stubborn team. We know that is certainly going to push us in the right direction. But it can't be a walk in the park, definitely. But we expect that certain players who were arrested for the previous game, for example, Ahmad Diallo, who came off the bench for a few minutes in the previous game, will be starting. We expect some bit of freshness from players like Lisandro Martinez, who was rested, I think, at some point in the game. So there's quite a number of things I think we should look out for with excitement. But most importantly for me, it's the game plan that I'm with to ensure that players stay fit and fresh to run this marathon of a league because the intensity of games is what he feels has been draining the life out of players. And he has come up with what he thinks would be the perfect antidote for that in terms of rotations and getting them rested. In fact, players were having individual training sessions, talking to, let's say, the strikers, coach, trying to give details to the forwards about what perhaps they can work on. So there was no general training of the team because of how important he felt it was for players to be rested. So for me, I think this is a new approach. It's a new way of doing things. We cannot say whether it works or not until we see it. But for me, anything that will get Man United players resting, I am for that, and I'm sure the players as well will be rallying behind Amorim just for that, because of how their bodies have been tired. Now, there's been something minor making rounds, and of course, I'll call it minor because it did not get big attention. But in terms of the message it sent, it wasn't good. There's something about Marcus Rashford. There was a video making rounds all over social media of him throwing his gloves when he was coming off the bench in the previous game against Bodo Glimit, and he was told, Amorim told him to put off the gloves. He was putting on gloves and he told him, put them off. I don't like that on my players. You need to be humble. And he just got them off and threw them at one of the assistants there, like he was a dog, instead of handing them over to him and stuff. And people, of course, are blowing the life out of it. And the thing with Rashford, sadly, is people really now, even if whatever he denies now, people get every reason to try and put him down, and it's a testing and trying time period for Rashford, to be honest. And I am quite frankly one of those people who also feels yes, I've been hard on Rashford, no doubt. I've been hard on him for quite some time, but there are things that I will not really give a lot of attention, give a lot of steam per se, if I must say, because I mean we are trying to rebuild Man United. We are trying to get the team back on track. I don't think it's a smart thing for us to go into things, minor things that tend to want to bring players down or to scapegoat players. Because I feel like now more than ever, whatever we achieve has got to be teamwork first. It has got to be teamwork first. So I don't get why people are still now picking up on Rashford again. What he did perhaps didn't look good. But I mean, if the coaches are not complaining, and let's just leave that for now and focus on seeing how best we can have Rashford contribute to the team and the rebuild of Man United. For as long as he's there, I think it's only right for us to back him now and not start giving attention or fueling the things or watering the things that seem to kill his mood and mentality and attitude, because it doesn't help the team in any way, does it? So that's my take on the whole Rashford thing. What he did not look good to the eye. But I don't think it's it's the thing we need to be focusing on right now. That's my honest opinion. And now I will leave it at that. I will be back, of course, later. Our game is tomorrow on Sunday. We'll talk about it at length and, of course, get to see what exactly we're all about. Like, share, and subscribe. And let me catch you later, fam.